कौन नहीं चाहता कि उसका मेंटर एक यूपीएससी रैंकर हो। 2021 के फाइनल रिजल्ट्स में सिविल्स दिल्ली आईएएस के 200 से भी ज्यादा सिलेक्शंस हैं। गाइस, आई एम गोइंग टू कनेक्ट यू 1-to-1 विद सिविल्स दिल्ली रैंकर्स फॉर फ्री। देयर इज अ लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, फिल इट एंड schedule a session. These ranker will prepare a timetable and a personalized plan for you. ये टॉपर्स आपको exactly वही बताएंगे कि कौन सी बुक फॉलो करनी है, कौन सा चैप्टर पढ़ना है. They will guide you in answer writing, mocks and accessing them. Don't miss this golden opportunity to get mentored by a ranker.
Hello aspirants, my name is Ritiz Arora and I have secured rank 18th in the Haryana Judicial Services Examination 2021. First of all, I want to thank the entire team of Tele Knowledge Track for providing me with this opportunity to communicate with the aspirants as to how I holistically prepared for this rather adverse journey of judicial services. This video will primarily be divided into 4 parts. First is the motivational factor which is required in the journey of judicial services to prepare holistically. So it is very important to know the why of becoming a judicial officer rather than how of becoming a judicial officer. So first of all, I'll be highlighting that phase. So this why of becoming a judicial officer may vary from person to person. It is very important to maintain the consistency. This judicial services can be possible without the coaching, or it may be with the help of coaching itself. And we all have ups and downs in life. We all have been through bad phases. I personally have been through one such phase where I was very low due to the COVID times, and I have lost one of my friend, though not due to COVID, and that was a bad phase in my life. But what kept me uplifting for this judicial services is the why of becoming a judicial officer. My personal why was to make my parents proud. So I started preparing for it holistically after and I want to see that I always wanted to see that respect in the eyes of my parents, and trust me, once you get the name on that list, the satisfaction, the amount of satisfaction you get, it cannot be equated with any other feeling. So the why was to make my parents proud. Your why of becoming a judicial officer may vary. Secondly, I want to highlight another important aspect, that time is the most precious entity that everyone has. It is very important that you consume your time wisely, because time is one such weapon which can change your entire life. So consume it very wisely. And I have seen many of aspirants cribbing about that they don't have time for answer writing, that they don't have time to solve mocks. But to my knowledge, time can be taken out for everything if you have the desire. So always consume your time wisely. Now coming on to the syllabus pattern of the judicial services examination, as we all know that this phase, there are 3 phases in this journey. First is the preliminary examination, second is the mains examination, and third is the interview preparation. So I prepared holistically from pinpoint, right from the interview. Then I prepared for the mains, and then I prepared for the pre. So my preparation was a bit unique one. So if anyone of you can relate with this preparation, I'll be very happy. So starting with the phase of preliminary examination, you must all understand one thing, that preliminary examination is a qualifying examination. You don't need to go into depths. I'm not saying that don't go into details of every section, but you don't need to build your conceptual based. For instance, in the states of like Punjab and Haryana, mostly if you go through the previous year papers, the questions are direct bare act based. So the first command should be on bare act. So for that, I recommend you to prepare short notes of bare act and repeatedly revise those. And that would be the best strategy to crack any preliminary examination. However, in states like Delhi, we see that the examination is morely conceptual based, and in those states you need to go into the depths. I did my coaching from Anil Khanna's Academy of Law, Chandigarh, and I also approached them for the exhaustive notes. So what my strategy was, I prepared my exhaustive notes and then I prepared short notes of those exhaustive notes, and I prepared the indexes of the preliminary examination, and I repeatedly revised those. There was no amount of limit as to the number of times I repeatedly revised those. And I would say that brainstorming the Bare Act provisions forms an important part of the preliminary examination. And while I was giving my Haryana pre, so most important thing was I always I refer to one or two of my friends, and we repeatedly brainstorm the provisions of the Bare Act. And another thing that is required for a preliminary examination is the element of practicing. I think it is very important to practice the mock tests again and again. I refer to the single guide 4 volumes and single publication guide, and then the universal guide and the AKGen, the versions of the MCQs. I solved all of these, and after that I also repeatedly solve the mock test series which is available on Unacademy, and apart from that I also refer to certain of the other mock tests which were available online. So I think that practicing mock test forms an important part of preliminary examination. And I also prepared for case laws. The case laws, I prepared one-liners of the landmark case laws as well as the recent case laws, and that really helps you to give the last moment tips, the last moment revisions that is required for pre. And so to sum up, I will for preliminary you need to repeatedly revise the Bare Acts and brainstorm the sections, the practice mock test as much as you can, and apart from that what is required is you fill the OMR sheet very carefully, because I have seen the aspirants who get jumble up while filling the OMR sheets. So it is very important to maintain that mental state while you are in the examination hall. So this was all about preliminary examination. Now coming on to the preparation of mains examination, which is the second phase of the examination. What was my strategy for mains was that I prepared my exhaustive notes for mains, and I referred to some coaching institute notes. I did my coaching from Anil Khanna's Academy of Law, and I referred to those notes, and after that I prepared short notes of those notes. I am not saying that coaching is very mandatory for the judicial services. It is very much achievable even without coaching, provided you work in the right direction and refer to some standard books. So but it is important to prepare exhaustive notes, because it will give you two important things. First of all, it will help you in your handwriting, and handwriting plays an important role as far as the mains answer writing is concerned. So it will improve your handwriting. I am not saying that handwriting should be very clean, neat and clean. It should be legitimate. So first point is that the handwriting will be maintained. Secondly, the mains paper are very lengthy, especially in the states of Punjab and Haryana, and I have seen many aspirants who are not able to complete the examinations. So it will improve your speed as well as handwriting. So this was my strategy, that I prepared the exhaustive notes, then I prepared the short notes, and then I started the answer writing practice, which forms the integral part of this whole process. We have 5 papers in the state of Haryana and Punjab. The first paper is Civil Law 1, then Civil Law 2, then Criminal Law, and then 2 language papers is there. I must say that it is very important to analyze the past year examination papers, and from those you get an idea that how the type of questions that are being asked. Especially in the state of Haryana, I have seen that they ask you mostly the theoretical based questions, and there were few conceptual based as well, but mostly it was theoretical based. So I started working in that direction from that. And another important thing I want to highlight is that analyze the past year results as well, because it is very important to know that in which is the most scoring paper. because in the state of Haryana, what I felt from the past year results that Civil Law 2 is the most scoring paper. So I worked very hard on Civil Law 2 and I managed to have a very good score in Civil Law 2. I managed to have around 521 holistically in mains, and I scored the maximum in the Civil Law 2. So that was my strategy for the examination, that you analyze the past year papers and you analyze the results as well. And if you can get the RTI copies of toppers, that is well and good. You will definitely get to learn a lot from those. So this was my strategy. And secondly, I want to highlight another important aspect, that I worked very hard on my language papers. As far as English was concerned, I referred to UPSC toppers essays for my essay preparation, and then I did not left any stones unturned, because I practiced the Pressy writing, I practiced the comprehensions, I practiced the vocabulary section as well. So this was one such thing that I always felt ki I will get an edge if I prepare in this way. So I prepared very hard on my language papers, especially English and Hindi. So in Hindi as well, I refer to the poetry in my essay papers, and then I literally crammed the muhavra part and the other parts as well. So this was my strategy for mains. And another important aspect I want to highlight in mains answer writing is that the answer writing forms an important part. So as much as you practice answer writing, that is very much needed. There are two types of answers: the factual based answers and the theoretical based answers. For factual based answers, I will recommend you to frame issues, and then the law point, then the appraisal part, and then the decision part. And for the theoretical based options, I will say you to have the introduction, which will include the jurisprudential essence of a particular thing, and then the essentials of a particular section, and then the conclusion part. So this is very important to know where you are scoring your marks. So always prepare in such a manner that you get an edge. Always work for that one edge that you need to have in examination, and that this mains examination will ace you through this journey of judicial services for sure. I'm sure. And another important aspect I want to highlight is that interlinking while you are preparing is very important. I interlink my section. For instance, I give I will give you an example. There was a question based on victimology. It was a 5-mark question. So what I thought, that everyone would write 2WA of the Code of Criminal Procedure and define the victim. However, I started writing it with the concept of fair trial, that the concept of fair trial, it includes the triangulation of the interests of victim, accused, in the society, and I refer to the Zahira Habibullah judgment on that base, the best bakery case. So in that way, I managed to get an edge in every such questions. And also I will recommend that to prepare the charts, make the charts in the examination wherever it is there, especially in the states of Punjab and Haryana. So and as far as the length of answers is concerned, I will recommend to write at least 2 pages for 10 marker, because I feel that length to an extent it plays an important role. But I am not saying that I have seen many aspirants who have written around 30 to 35 sheets, 30 to 35 pages, and they managed to clear. But however, I personally, on my level, in law papers, I have wrote around 45 to 50 pages in the examination, since my writing speed was very good. And that is one of the reason why I scored this much in my mains examination. And one last thing that I would want to highlight in the mains examination is that what I did was that we prepared a group of around 10 to 15 aspirants, 10 to 15 serious aspirants on various social media platforms, Telegram and WhatsApp, and we practiced the mains answer writing repeatedly in that. Daily we would have questions, 1 or 2 questions, and we would write and we would analyze each other's answer. And I think that one thing eventually worked in my favors, and 3 of us are now judicial officers from that group. So if you can maintain the group of around 10 to 15 serious aspirants, and you can practice in the similar way. This will help you in maintaining consistency in answer writing, as well as give you an idea that how can you get an edge, and how can you get an edge in your answer writing, and you can improve your answer writing skills to that extent. So now coming to the last stage of the preparation, which is the interview preparation. As far as I know, that interview judges the personality of a particular individual. It does not judges the knowledge. Knowledge to an extent is important, but what is more important in an interview preparation is that you have a humble personality. I will say that two virtues that are needed in this journey of judicial services is your honesty and your humility. Humility, I will say that it is one such virtue which can ace through your interview. I can say that safely. These two things I have always kept with me. The interview board is very much cordial, and in my interview it was around 8 to 9 honorable members of the board, and they repeatedly asked me questions about different things. I will say that they asked me around 8 to 9 questions. I was asked questions about the whistleblower. I was asked questions about Prevention of Corruptions Act. I was asked certain questions from situational questions from the Indian Penal Code. I was asked questions on section 511 IPC and 188 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Then the honorable board members also asked me certain personal questions regarding my family background, regarding why I want to become a judicial officer. So these are such questions that you always need to prepare. I was asked these questions, and it was a rapid fire kind of thing, that one member was asking, then I gave my answer, and then the another member asked me certain questions. So it was not the discussion based concept. They did not further ask me questions. They asked me one question, I gave answers, they were satisfied with that. So the environment in the interview board was very much cordial, I must say. So I was very much very scared of the interview board, but I gave many mock interviews. I practiced at home, since I belong to a family of advocates, so I practiced home with my father, with my brother, with my siblings. They constituted a board, and they repeatedly asked me questions from law based questions. So the interview preparation, I must say, there are three things that are required in an interview. First is your personality. The personality will comprise how you dress up. Always dress up very wisely. I will say that you always choose a sober tie, and secondly, I will say that always wear Oxford shoes as far as possible. So your personality, you should not look shoddy in your appearance. Your appearance must be very much formal as far as the boys look is concerned. I think that girls should wear a sari most probably. If you are not comfortable in sari, you can wear a simple sober pastel color suits that will suit your personality. So this was my preparation as to interview. I gave many mock interviews as well, and I will recommend you to give mock interviews, because it helps you to build your confidence at certain level, and confidence is one such thing that is required in an interview, because if you get jumbled up in the basic questions, that will be against you. I scored decently in my interview, and I will recommend all the aspirants to follow this stage very importantly. Means it will improve your marks, but the interview will improve your rank eventually. So work on your interview as much as you work on your means.
कौन नहीं चाहता कि उसका मेंटर एक यूपीएससी रैंकर हो। 2021 के फाइनल रिजल्ट्स में सिविल्स दिल्ली आईएएस के 200 से भी ज्यादा सिलेक्शंस हैं। गाइस, आई एम गोइंग टू कनेक्ट यू 1-to-1 विद सिविल्स दिल्ली रैंकर्स फॉर फ्री। देयर इज अ लिंक इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन, फिल इट एंड स्केड्यूल अ सेशन। These ranker will prepare a timetable and a personalized plan for you. ये टॉपर्स आपको exactly वही बताएंगे कि कौन सी बुक फॉलो करनी है, कौन सा चैप्टर पढ़ना है. They will guide you in answer writing, mocks and accessing them. Don't miss this golden opportunity to get mentored by a ranker.
I must say that clearing of this examination is just the 10% of it, and the sense of responsibility that you get after clearing this examination is much more than that. Now I have been through this journey and I have cracked this examination. I can safely I can safely say that clearing this examination was only a part of it, and you get a bigger responsibility after that. And in that responsibility, even I will recommend you to always be humble. The humility is one virtue that I have always kept with me in this phase of preparation, and even I will kept it long along my life. On that note, I thank the entire team of Tele Knowledge Track for providing me with this opportunity to address the aspirants and share my experiences and my journey. And I hope and pray that each one of you work hard in the right direction and you soon be a judicial officer in this journey. And so I wish you all the luck from my side. Good luck and thank you. Jai Hind.